नाभिस्तथा पञ्चमेव षष्ठौ भुञ्जान्तरं दोर्युगलं तथान्यौ. Aruna, from here.
कंठस्तु राजन्नवमो यदीयो मुखारविन्दं दशमं प्रफुल्लम् एकादशो यस्य ललाटपट्टं चिरोऽपि यद्वादश एव भाति.
Okay. Vinita Mataji, from here.
नमामि देवं करुणानिधानं तमलवर्णं तमालवर्णं सुहितावतारम् अपार संसार समुद्र सेतुं भजामहे भागवत स्वरूपम्.
भजामहे भागवत स्वरूपम्. Sachadev Prabhu, from Chaitanya Manjusha, what is the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Matam. Aradhya Bhagavan. Chant.
Which one, Mataji?
Chaitanya Manjusha. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to say of Srimad Bhagavatam? Because you have come from Bhakti Shastri, you have taken admission in Bhakti Vaibhava. Actually, there is importance of Bhakti Bhagavatam studies. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to say?
I don't know, Mataji.
Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas. Okay, Raksha Mataji, chant.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tattam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Varge Naya Kalpita Srimat Bhagavatam Pramanamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mataidam Tatra Darona Paraha.
Yes. What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling about Bhagavatam? What is he telling about Bhagavatam? Can anyone answer? What is he telling about Bhagavatam?
Praman Amalam.
It is Amala Pramanam. That means which does not have any mala. It is a spotless Purana. It is the Amalam, Pramanam. Pramanam means it is a spotless proof. It's a spotless proof. Anybody can call themselves as God. But Bhagavatam tells the various incarnations, speaks about the various incarnations, various lakshanas. So, if a person refers to Bhagavatam, he will not be cheated. Okay. Then we discuss from the 12th canto Bhagavatam, 13th chapter, 18th verse. We discussed. Srimad Bhagavatam Prama Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsvemam Ekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tattva Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmya Viskrutam Darshunvan Supatan Vicharana Paro Bhakta Vimuchyena Naraha. So whoever chants Srimad Bhagavatam with great devotion, he will be completely liberated. That means all his sinful reactions, everything will be removed. And also, he is free from all the material birth. He will attain the transcendental knowledge. Jnanam. Which Jnanam? Adhyatma Jnanam. He will attain the transcendental knowledge. And he will attain Vairagya. Vairagya Vidya, Nijabhakti Yoga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us Vairagya Vidya. Which Vidya? Vairagya Vidya. In which, how a person can attain Vairagya Vidya? Nija Bhakti Yoga. By devotion to Krishna. So in this way, glories of Bhagavatam has been sung. So last time we completed up to 13th verse, 12th verse, 12th verse, 1.2. Yeah, we did up to 1.2.12, where importance of hearing, and that too with great faith. has been emphasized. Tat shraddhana muniyo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani chatmanam bhaktya shruta gruhitaya. So a jnani, a vairagi, a bhakta, if they hear with great devotion, then what they can see? The jnani can see what he can see. Pashyanti. He can see Atmani, that is Jiva, as the Lord. Yes, Lord of this body. Still, his knowledge is not perfect. He is seeing Atmani as Atmanam as Atmani. Here, Atmanam as Atmani. What has been given? Pashyanti Atmani cha Atmanam. Cha Atmanam. Atmanam refers to whatever he is seeing. What is he seeing? As Atmani. Atmani is what? Lord. So what is he seeing? He is only seeing the soul as the Lord. Then what is yogi seeing? What is he seeing? He is seeing the Paramatma as Lord, because yogis are interested in Paramatma and the Gyanis are interested in Brahman realization. So for a Gyani to know that he is not the body, his soul, this is the perfection of his life. But we know that is not the ultimate perfection. That we know. It is not the ultimate perfection. But even to understand I am not the body, I am soul, he has to take shelter of Lord. Without bhakti, even he cannot understand this. So maybe that bhakti may be artificial for some time. For some time he may accept the deities. But afterwards he will not even accept the deities also. Because he's not interested in deity worship. But just to control his mind, to understand I'm not the body, I'm soul, for some time he may take up bhakti. But that is not at the stage of, at the level of bhaktas. At the level of bhaktas, what does he see? Pashyanti Atmani Atmanam. What does he see? He sees Bhagavan Atmanam. He sees Bhagavan. Where? In the mind. Here Atmani refers to mind. He sees directly Bhagavan. Bhagavan as Bhagavan, you'll tell? No, Bhagavan in the mind. And what did he see? He saw Paramatma in his heart. So there Atmani refers to heart for a yogi. And Atmanam refers to Paramatma. Paramatma as in the heart. Lord Krishna in the mind for a bhakta. And for a jnani, soul as Lord. There's some technical things. Even if you don't know much about it, there's no problem. At least you should know one thing, that they are more interested in knowing that the soul is Brahman. Once they think that, oh, I am Brahman, for them that is perfection. That is the goal of their life. To understand soul is Brahman. Yes, soul is Brahman, but which Brahman? Jiva Brahman. For them that is enough. Till that point, they call that is a Shuddha Sattva. We have understood Shuddha Sattva. Yes, that is a Shuddha Sattva only. Brahman here refers to the energy of Lord. So Jiva is also energy of Lord. So that energy of Lord is Shuddha Sattva, no doubt. But still, energy of Lord is dependent on energetic. So that knowledge is not there. On the other hand, the yogi, what is he seeing? He is seeing Paramatma, where in his heart. He is only meditating on Paramatma. For that also Shraddha is required. Even for that process of a yogi, Shraddha is required. A lot of faith is required. Faith is required on whom? On his Guru. Shuta Gruhitaya, on his Guru. And then for a devotee to always see Krishna within the mind, that means to place Krishna within the mind. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayoho. But that also faith is required from Guru Shishya Parampara. On the Guru Shishya Parampara, he also has to hear from the Guru Shishya Parampara and faith on the Guru. So in this way, 3 levels has been spoken. From here till the 22nd verse, we have the importance of hearing process. Let us see the 13th verse. Atha pumbe dvida shrestha varnashrama vibhagashah svanishtatsya dharmasya संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. Again. Atha pumbhir dvija shrestha varnashrama vibhagashah swanishthasya dharmasya samsiddhirharitoshanam. So one of you unmute yourself. Vimlangi Mataji, unmute yourself and chant after me. Unmute
Yes,
yourself.
Mataji, 1 second. I'll just open my
All of you open your Bhagavatam. Open your Bhagavatam and sit. Without Bhagavatam, how we'll be studying?
Yes, Mataji.
Atha pumbhir dvija shrestha
Atha Pumbe Dvija Shrestha
varnashrama vibhagashah
Varnashrama Vibhagasah
varnashrama vibhagashah
Varnashrama Vibhagasah
swanushtit swanushtitasya dharmasya swanushtitasya
Swanusthitasya
sthitasya
Dharmasya Swanusthitasya
swanushtitasya dharmasya
Swanusthitasya Dharmasya
samsiddhir haritoshanam.
Samsiddhir Haritosanam.
Mohit Prabhu, read the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji. After you, Mataji.
No, you read. I'll tell after you.
Okay. अतः पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा
अथ पुंभिर द्विज श्रेष्ठा
वर्णाश्रम विभागशः
वर्णाश्रम विभागशः
स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य
स्वनिष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य
संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्.
संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. Milind Prabhu, you want to try out?
Yeah, Mataji. Atha Pumbe Dvija Shrestha
अथ
Varnashrama.
पुंभे द्विज श्रेष्ठा.
Atha Pumbe Dvija Shrestha.
You chant, I will chant after.
Okay.
If you chant wrong, I will also chant wrong.
Okay. Atha Pumbe Dvija Shrestha.
अथ पुंभे द्विज श्रेष्ठा.
Shrestha. Okay. Varnashrama Vibhagashah.
वर्णाश्रम विभागशः
Swanushtitasya Dharmasya.
स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य
Samsiddhirharitoshanam.
संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्. Okay. So let us see. Atha. So. Now why so? Suddenly why so? Why suddenly so has come? That means something has been told and then so has come. In the 12th verse, Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya has been told. In the 11th verse, what has been told? Learned transcendentals, they know about
हो गया ना इधर आओ
Paramatma
वहां तक जा रही
Bhagavan.
हो गया इधर आओ
Who is
ना
Idara?
आता उतने बोले
Anika. Who is Anika? Who is Anika? Who has joined? Anika. Please mute yourself. Keep your videos on, no? Okay. Let us see the previous verses because Krishna has told so. What is this so? Suddenly so has come. So let us see the previous verses. What has been told in the 7th verse? Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janetiyashu Vairagyam Jnanam cha yat ahaitukam. Ahaituki seva has been described. What is an ahaituki? The causeless service. And that causeless service, what it is, how it is produced? By rendering service to Lord. Because of that, ahaituki, that means causeless, there is no cause for performing devotion. And which vairagyam? Vairagyam jnanam. Which jnanam has come? Vairagya jnanam has come. Okay. And then afterwards, in 8th verse, if you see, about dharma has been told. What is a dharma? If a person is not inclined to hear about Krishna, all the activities in Varnashrama is what? A waste of time. The 9th verse, what has been told? Why a person is performing devotional service? Anybody can say why a person is performing devotional service?
To please Krishna.
To please Krishna. What has been rejected? What has been rejected in the 9th verse?
Chaitava
Yes.
dharma.
Material gain. Worshipping for material gain.
It should not be for the material gain. 10th verse, what has been told? Why a person is performing devotional service? Or why a person is performing his varnashrama dharma? Yes. Why is he performing his varnashrama dharma? Sanjay Prabhu.
Or inquiring about the absolute truth.
Well, what has been given here in 10th verse? Yes, it should be for inquiring unto the absolute truth, tattva jigyasa. But
Should not be
it is
directed
just
to
for having a self-preservation.
Yes.
Main purpose is
Self.
tattva jigyasa and self-preservation. Okay. Then what is tattva jigyasa? To know about?
Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan.
Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Then, in the 12th verse, how this Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan is realized? Who are all the people who are realizing this? Yes, what has been told?
Jnani, yogi, and Karmi,
Yes.
Jnani, yogi.
Karmi? Brahman, Paramatma,
Jnani.
Bhagwan?
Jnani, yogi, bhakta.
Jnani, yogi, and bhakta. So, now what is coming? So what is concluded? The conclusion has been given. Atha Pumbhir Dvijashrestha. Pumbhir means human being. Dvijashrestha. Now here, Dvijashrestha is referred to the best among the twice born. Sages of Naimisharanya have asked the question. Now the answer is given by Sutta Goswami. So he's saying, oh, best among the twice born. Addressing the sages. Oh, nice Brahmanas, we are all very wonderful Brahmanas. So what is given? This Varnashrama Vibhagashaha. The human has been divided into Varnashrama. Krishna has told, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. According to Guna and Karma, they have been divided. So all this division, by this division, what is he doing? He is performing his own prescribed action. Brahmana performs his action, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So he is performing his actions or duties, you can say. But what is the purpose? Dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. What is the highest perfection? He is doing his duties, wonderful, according to the divisions. But what is the purpose? What has been given? Haritoshanam. Haritoshanam refers to, what is the meaning of haritoshanam?
pleasing the Lord.
For the satisfaction of Lord or for pleasing the Lord. Yes, for pleasing the Lord. So here, pleasing the Lord, haritoshanam has been given. Now there is a, here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one of the shlokas, in the purport of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, then we'll come to Srila Prabhupada's commentary also. Anyhow, we are going to read. But there is a description which has been given. If a person is performing his duty very nicely, but he has given up the path of devotional service, what will happen? What will happen? He is not going to please Krishna. It is like he is trying to speculate. He will do something, but he will try to speculate on the absolute truth. But he is not going to get any results. It is like there is a husk and he is beating and he is trying to get the grains, but it's already an empty husk. That means he's trying so hard to reach the perfection of his life by performing his duties. But such duties where the inclination to hear about Krishna, the inclination to please Krishna is not there. It is like beating an empty husk. And then, now, knowledge of self-realization is there. Very good. I am not the body, I am soul. This much knowledge is there. So what is he doing? He is performing Nishkama Karma Yoga. That means he is performing activities without any desires. Okay, now here to this very nice. He is performing activities without any desire. Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. But there is no achyuta bhava. Varjitam means there is no achyuta bhava. He has no desire, is performing nishkama karma, no doubt, because he has understood I am not the body, I am soul. Why should I take results for myself? He is naishkarmyam, he is not interested in the results. But still, achyuta bhava varjitam. There is no bhava for Krishna. There is no love for Krishna. Na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. It is not going to beautify the knowledge. Okay, somebody is performing sakama karma. That means sakarma. Sakarma means he is taking the results. Somebody is not taking the results. But what is the use of all these things if his results are not offered to Krishna, whether he is taking, whether he is not taking, what is the use? So this verse is very important. It adds up to this verse. Because in Varnashrama, naturally is engaged in many duties. He gets results. Now when he gets the results, he may use it for his sense gratification, or he may not use it because he is now very much engrossed to know about himself. Like he wants to know, I'm not the body, I'm soul, and all these things. He gives up. Someday he gives up the results. First, he does not give up the work. He's giving up the results. He's not much interested in the results. But even then, there is no use that has been taken. If it is not offered to Krishna, those results are useless. Na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. That means whatever we are doing, it is for pleasing Krishna. So has been come. Ataha, so. So what is the purpose of performing Varnashrama Dharma? Hari Toshanam. What is the purpose? Hari Toshanam. For pleasing the Lord. The spontaneous answer should come. What is the purpose of performing Varnashrama Dharma? For pleasing Lord. Hari Toshanam. Now, somebody can say, is performing his dharma. Now, is the dharma perfected by bhakti? Is a Brahmana, is a Vaishya, is a Shudra, is a Kshatriya. Is the dharma perfected by bhakti?
No.
Yes or no? Yes. Dharma
No.
is perfected by bhakti. Yes, dharma is perfected by bhakti. Who said no? Sachdev. I am asking you another question. Is bhakti perfected by dharma?
It can never be perfected by dharma because bhakti is independent. It does not depend upon another.
Yes. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti is not dependent on what dharma you are doing, or what arthika dharma you are placed. So bhakti is not dependent on dharma. In fact, dharma is dependent on bhakti. The perfection of every work is dependent on the mercy of Lord, on bhakti only. You have surrendered to Lord and you are offering everything to Lord. There is a perfection of your dharma. Because you're performing activities, you get the results, you're offering it to Lord. That is a perfection of your dharma. But perfection of bhakti is not dependent on dharma. How many apples you gave to Krishna? What it matters? Is bhakti dependent on how many apples you gave to Krishna? Or how many mangoes you offered to Krishna? How much rupees you have given in donation? Is bhakti dependent on that?
Never.
But your giving donation is because you have got the results, and bhakti is perfecting your dharma. You have got some money and you are offering it to Lord. You have purchased some fruits, you are offering to Lord. And that is because bhakti is perfecting your activity. But bhakti is not dependent on what you are giving. Understand it very nicely. Bhakti is not dependent on what you are giving. Somebody has nothing to give. That doesn't mean that he is not having bhakti. So bhakti itself is something independent. It is not dependent on anything. So that is why it is said here, all the dharmas are perfected by bhakti. So necessity of the devotee is performing dharma is is rejected. That means the devotees need not be behind performing Arthika Dharma. If they perform Paramarthika Dharma, automatically everything is satisfied. Like you water the root, then everybody is satisfied. So devotees are not much interested in the Varnashrama. In fact, Varna, whatever results the Varnashrama gives, that all comes automatically in Bhakti. Like in the Varnashrama, you have to earn, feed people, everything. Feed your dependents. When you are performing Bhakti, automatically these all things happen. You not only feed your dependents, you feed everyone. You feed your devotees, you feed the devotees, serve the devotees. Everything automatically happens. That is why the results which is attained by performing dharma is automatically there in the bhakti. You don't have to specially do anything. Bhakti is the answer for everything. So taking shelter of Krishna is the highest dharma. That is arthika, paramarthika dharma. If paramarthika dharma is followed, everything is there. He is not dependent on anything. And he is considered, Krishna says, he is considered to be the best among the living entities. He is considered that he has renounced everything. Okay. And then also we have heard this verse in Bhagavad Gita, Devarshi Bhutapanunam Putranam Nakinkaro Nayam Rinicharajan. He is no more indebted to anyone. Duties are done out of obligations, isn't it? Duties are done out of obligations. So this Varnashrama duties or dharma, which is done out of obligation, this is there till a person is not completely surrendered to Krishna. If he is completely surrendered to Krishna, Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Paharitya Kartam, then he is no more obliged. That is why the highest thing is, even if you are performing Varnashrama system, Varnashrama dharma, the whole intention to be Hari Toshanam. The goal should be Hari Toshanam. Okay, one of you read the purport. Mohit Prabhu, you read the purport.
Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Human society all over the world is divided into 4 castes and 4 orders of life. The 4 castes are the intelligent caste, the martial caste, the productive caste, and the laborer caste. These castes are classified in terms of one's work and qualification and not by birth. Then again, there are 4 orders of life, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired, and the devotional life. In the best interest of human society, there must be such divisions of life, otherwise, no social institution can grow up in a healthy state. And in each and every one of the above mentioned divisions of life, the aim must be to please the supreme authority of personality of Godhead. This institutional function of human society is known as the system of Varnashrama Dharma, which is quite natural for the civilized life. The Varnashrama institution is constructed to enable one to realize the absolute truth. It is not for artificial domination of one division over the other. When the aim of life, that is, realization of the absolute truth, is missed by too much attachment for Indriya Priti or sense gratification, as it is already discussed herein before, the institution of the Varnashrama is utilized by selfish men to pose an artificial predominance over the weaker section. In the Kali Yuga or in the age of quarrel, this artificial predominance is already current, but the saner section of the people know it well that the division of castes and orders of life are meant for smooth social intercourse and high-thinking self-realization and not for any other purpose. May I continue, Mataji?
Read.
Yeah. Herein, the statement of Bhagavatam is that the highest aim of life or the highest perfection of the institution of the Varnashrama Dharma is to cooperate jointly for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, which is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 30.
Yes. So Krishna has created this Varnashrama. That is just to give proper duties for proper according to the nature, so that everybody will be functioning smoothly. But ultimately it is to please Krishna. Ultimately the whole purpose is to please Krishna. Now, what is the highest thing? Why we are all having a house, or maybe why we are all performing this Varnashrama? What is there in Varnashrama? Duties are there, you see. You got married. Why did you get married? Your soul, no? I'm not the body, I'm soul. Why we should get married? Why we should have a house? Why we should? Because the soul doesn't need all these things. What is the duty of the soul then? Why is he having family members? Why is he having a house? Why is he going to the work? His work is worship. Because generally we have learned this: work is worship, work is worship. But actually, worship is the only work. And to perform that worship, we are doing other work. Even we are studying or getting married or going to office, maintaining the house, maintaining the family members. For what purpose? Worship is the only work. To perform that worship, we are taking this assistance. And what is that worship including? This worship includes 4 things. That is Shottavyaha, Kirtitavyascha, Dheya, Pujyascha. 4 things are there in worship. This is the only work. There is no other work beyond this. And how it should be done? Tasmad ekena manasaha. With one pointed attention. Tasmad ekena manasaha. Bhagavan Satvatam Pati. He is actually the Pati. Bhagavan Satvatam Pati. He is the protector of the devotees. Tasmad ekena manasa. Tasmad means therefore. How to please him? Therefore. Previous verse, what was there? Why you are performing devotion service? So that we please Krishna. So has come so. So that we can please Krishna. So what we should do? Therefore, what we should do? Tasmad ekena manasaha. With one pointed attention. Worship Lord. How? By hearing about him. Shottavyaha. Kirtitavyascha, glorifying him. Pujyascha, worshipping him. Then Dheyascha. Dheya means meditating upon him. Pujyascha, worshipping him. How? With one pointed attention. On to whom? Bhagavan Satatampati. That Lord who is the husband of all the devotees or the protector of all the devotees. So we'll chant this verse. Tasmadekena manasa. Who will chant after me? Sanjay Prabhu, will you chant? Sanjay Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, I'll try.
Tasmadekena manasa.
Tasmad ekena manasa.
Bhagavan Satvatam Pati.
Bhagavan Satvatam Pati.
Shottavya Kirtitavyascha.
Shottavya Kirtitavyascha.
Shottavya Kirtitavyascha.
Shottavya Kirtitavyascha.
Dheya Pujyascha Nityada.
Dhyaya Pujyascha
Pujyascha
Nityada.
Nityada.
Dhyaya
Krishna Prabhu.
Pujyascha Nityada.
Very good. Ram Krishna Prabhu. Tasmadekena manasa.
तस्मादेकेन मनसा
Bhagavan Satvatam Pati.
भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः
Shottavya Kirtitavyascha.
श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च
Dheya Pujyascha Nityada.
ध्येय पूज्यश्च नित्यदा.
See how it started with give up all the Kaitava Dharma. Then what is Dharma? Dharma means which should not have any ahaituki apratiyata. Savai pumsam paro dharmo. Which dharma has to be followed? Paro dharmo. Then what has been told? Shama eva hi kevalam. If you are just doing your varnashrama but you are not interested in hearing about Lord, it is only Shama eva hi kevalam. So what we should do? Perform the varnashrama for the satisfaction of Krishna. For tattva jigyasa, then for the satisfaction of Krishna, and then with one pointed attention, the real dharma has been told. What is the real dharma? Shottavya, Kirtitavyascha, Dheya, Pujyascha. So ultimately, 4 varnas are there. 4 varnas. Actually, that 4 varnas, what they should do? Shottavya, Kirtitavyascha, Dheya, Pujyascha. These 4 activities has to be performed by everybody, irrespective of whichever varna he is. Okay. Bindu Mataji, you read. Bindu Mata, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Read the 14th.
If realization of the absolute truth is the ultimate aim of life, it must be carried out by all means. In any one of the above mentioned castes and orders of life, the 4 processes, namely glorifying, hearing, remembering, and worshipping, are general occupations. Without these principles of life, no one can exist. Activities of the living being involve engagements in these 4 different principles of life. Especially in modern society, all activities are more or less dependent on hearing and glorifying. Any man from any social status becomes a well-known man in human society within a very short time if he is simply glorified truly or falsely in the daily newspapers. Sometimes political leaders of a particular party are also advertised by newspaper propaganda, and by such a method of glorification, an insignificant man becomes an important man within no time. But such propaganda by false glorification of an unqualified person cannot bring about any good either for the particular man or for the society. There may be some temporary reactions to such propaganda, but there are no permanent effects. Therefore, such activities are a waste of time. The actual object of glorification is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who has created everything manifested before us. We have broadly discussed this fact from the beginning of the Janmadasya shloka of this Bhagavatam. The tendency to glorify others or hear others must be turned to the real object of glorification, the Supreme Being, and that will bring happiness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. Hear about Lord has been emphasized. You be in any varna, you hear about Lord. If you are not doing the Shamayavahi Kevala. So what will happen by hearing about Lord? What exactly happens? And why a person will not take interest if he understands the results of hearing about Lord? That has been given in the 15th verse. What is the question? What will happen by hearing about Lord? And if you know the results, then which person will not take interest in hearing about the Lord? Okay. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha. Who will chant after me? One. Bhaktani Prabhu, you chant. Bhaktani, Gita Mataji and all will take part now. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha.
Yat anudyashina yukta.
Yad anudhyasina yuktaha.
Yat anudyashina
yuktaha.
Anudyashina yuktaha.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Ko na kuryat tatharatim.
Ko na kuryat tatharatim.
Gita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Gita. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha.
Yad anudyasina yukta.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Chindanti
kovidastasya. Ko na kuryat tatharatim.
Na kuryat tatharatim.
Okay, Usha Mataji, you chant, then I will chant. Usha, unmute yourself.
Yad anudyasina yukta karma granthi nibandhanam.
Wait, let me chant after you. Yad anudyasina yuktaha.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Karma granthi nibandhanam.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Chindanti kovidastasya.
Ko na को न कुर्यात् कथारतिम्
को न कुर्यात् तथा रतिम्. Rajneesh Prabhu, you chant, then I'll chant. On your video, Rajneesh Prabhu. Yes, on your video. How will I know that you are in the class? Kusum Mataji.
Mataji, I am on my way home. I'm on my way home. I'm in the station, Mataji. It'll take another half an hour to reach home.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Who will chant? This was Vimla Mataji. You chant. Don't have book only to read. Then how? You should take a book, na? First canto Bhagavatam is available in the. Okay. Milind Prabhu, you read.
यद अनुध्यासिना युक्त
Yad anudhyasina yukta
कर्म ग्रंथि निबंधनम
karma granthi nibandhanam
छिन्नन्ति कुविदा तस्य
chindanti govidastasya
को न कुर्यात् कथारतिम्
ko na kuryat tatharasim tatharatim. Yad anudhyasina yuktaha. Yad, which anudhya, remembrance. Asinaha yuktaha. Asina here refers to sword. That means remembrance of Krishna is compared to sword. If he is equipped with, if the person is equipped with remembrance of Krishna, katha, then karma granthi nibandhanam. That sword can cut karma granthi nibandhanam. Nibandhanam means it can completely cut. Chindanti. Chindanti means cut. So kovidatasya. Which intelligent person, that which actually comes to kovida, which intelligent person will not take it up? Tasya kaha na kuryat tatharati na kuryat. Which intelligent person will not do or shall not do na kuryat katharati? Why will he not put attention in the transcendental message? So, an intelligent person understands that katha of Krishna or Krishna katha is actually sword in his hand to cut the knot of karma, karma granthi. Karma granthi is very difficult to cut, but he has taken this sword. So that has been given. So who will not put attention or who will not be attracted to the topics of Krishna? Shrama eva hi kevalam has been told, but this person was not knowing that he is just bound by his karmas. And this bondage can be easily cut just by hearing about Krishna. Krishna says that whoever is attracted to my topics, that person will attain permanent bhakti for me, permanent devotion, just by hearing about Lord. What is Bhagavatam facilitating us? It facilitates to hear about the person who has given us the instruction in Bhagavad Gita. There is a person who has instructed so many things in Bhagavad Gita, but we should know about him. If we don't know about him, so Bhagavatam facilitates us to know about that person who has given us the instruction. So Katharatim, to know about him, by knowing about him, a person gets permanent bhakti or permanent devotional service. Tasmad ekena manasaha. How we should do? With one pointed attention. What to do? Shottavya kirtitavyascha deya pujyascha. So by doing that, karma granthi, a person can easily cut off the knot of the karmic reactions or bondage. Okay. Govinda Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The contact of the spiritual spark with material elements creates a knot which must be cut if one wants to be liberated from the actions and reactions of fruitive work. Liberation means freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. This liberation automatically follows for one who constantly remembers the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead. This is because all the activities of the Supreme Lord, his Leela, are transcendental to the modes of the material energy. They are all attractive spiritual activities, and therefore, constant association with the spiritual activities of the Supreme Lord gradually spiritualizes the conditioned soul and ultimately severs the knot of material bondage. Liberation from material bondage is, therefore, a byproduct of devotional service. Attainment of spiritual knowledge is not sufficient to ensure liberation. Such knowledge must be overcoated with devotional service so that ultimately the devotional service alone predominates. Then liberation is made possible. Even the reactionary work of the fruity workers can lead one to liberation when it is overcoated with devotional service. Karma overcoated with devotional service is called karma yoga. Similarly, empirical knowledge overcoated with devotional service is called jnana yoga. But pure bhakti yoga is independent of such karma and jnana because it alone can not only endow one with liberation from conditional life but also award one the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, any sensible man who is above the average man with a poor fund of knowledge must constantly remember the personality of Godhead by hearing about him, by glorifying him, by remembering him, and by worshipping him always without cessation. That is the perfect way of devotional service. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, who were constantly authorized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to preach the bhakti cult, rigidly followed this rule and made immense researches of transcendental science for our benefit. They have chalked out ways for all classes of men in terms of the different castes and orders of life in pursuance of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and similar other authoritative scriptures. Hare Krishna.
Okay. How such desire will come? To hear about Krishna also desire has to be there. No? I should have desire to hear about Lord. How such desire will come? That is given in 16th verse. To even develop that desire, what is the thing which will make us develop that desire? Shushushoshadhanasya. Kati Mataji, chant after me. Shushushoshadhanasya.
शुश्रूषोश्रद्धधानस्य
Vasudeva katha ruchihi.
वासुदेवकथारुचिः
Syatmaha sevaya vipra.
श्यान्मातसेवया विप्र
Punyatirtha nishevanat.
पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्.
It is actually syat. But when writing it will be syan, but syat. Shushusho shaddadhanasya.
शुश्रूषोश्रद्धधानस्य
Vasudeva katha ruchihi.
वासुदेवकथारुचिः
Syatmaha sevaya vipra.
स्यात्महत्सेवया वृप्र
Punyatirtha nishevanat.
पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्.
Sachidev Prabhu, you chant, then I will chant.
श्रद्धाधनस्य
Shushusho shaddadhanasya. Okay.
श्रद्धाधनस्य वासुदेव कथा रुचिः
Vasudeva katha ruchihi.
ज्ञान महत् सेवया विप्रः
Syatmaha sevaya vipra. Tomorrow we are making laddus, you know that? We are making laddus. Because the roof casting is going to go on. At that time there is a celebration. Marwadis, they give laddus. So those who are not pronouncing vipra, will give one laddu to them. Syatmaha sevaya vipra, one laddu. Chant.
ज्ञान महत् सेवया विप्रः पुण्यतीर्थ
Vipraha,
निषेवना
you have to come tomorrow for eating laddus. Is it vipraha or vipra?
विप्र
विप्रः
Vipraha. In between when aha comes, you should not say aha. You should just swallow it. Syat mahasevaya vipra. It is understood that aha is there. Aha is used only in the last. Syat mahasevaya vipra. I want my laddus.
ज्ञान महत् सेवया विप्रः
Again?
विप्रः विप्रः
Vipra. Just say vipra, na?
विप्रा स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थ निषेवनात्
पुण्यतीर्थ निषेवनात्.
पुण्यतीर्थ
Very good.
निषेवनात्.
Jakkan Prabhu, please chant.
हरे कृष्ण शुश्रूषो श्रद्धानस्य
शुश्रूषो श्रद्धधानस्य
शुश्रूषो श्रद्धानस्य वासुदेव कथारुचि
Vasudeva Katha Ruchihi. Here you should say Ruchihi because it's the end of the statement.
स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्राः
Huh? Just now what it is.
स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्राः
Again, tomorrow Laddu.
स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्राः
Again.
स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्राः.
I told in between aha should not be used. Just vipra. Pra is there, na?
विप्राः विप्राः स्यान् महत्सेवया विप्राः.
Syan you should not say syat.
स्यात्
हाँ.
स्यात् महत्सेवया विप्राः.
स्यात् महत्सेवया विप्रा.
पुण्यतीर्थ निषेवनात्.
पुण्यतीर्थ निषेवनात्. Who else wants to chant? Raise your hand.
Mataji, I want to chant.
Okay, chant.
शुश्रूषयो श्रद्धानस्य वासुदेव कथारुचि स्यात् महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थ निषेवणात्.
Very good. Shushusho Shaddadhanasya. When such eagerness to hear with great care and attention about Katha, Vasudeva Katha will develop. How it is possible? Syat means how is it possible? Shushusho Shaddadhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchihi. Such desire, how is it possible? Syat means possible. How is it made possible? Mahat Sevaya, because one has rendered service to pure devotees. It is not so easy to come in the process of hearing, and let too after hearing for 1 year Bhakti Shastri, again to come in Bhakti Vaibhava is not so easy. Somewhere you have rendered pure devotional service to great devotees. That is why, because of their mercy, we are all here studying Bhakti Vaibhava. Syat Mahat Sevaya. Syat means it is made possible because of Mahat Sevaya, because of rendering service to pure devotees. Punya Tirtha Nishevana. And because of this Punya Tirtha. What is Punya Tirtha? Punya Tirtha. Punya means all the papas are removed. Yesham Twantagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Only when all the vices or the sins are removed, one attains that punya. Which punya? Not the punya of this material world. Even so-called punya of the material world gives which goal? It only gives higher planetary systems. But here, even the so-called punya is also considered as papa only. So completely, when all the material punya, material papas completely eradicated, then one gets that punya. That punya is the transcendental opportunity to hear about Krishna, the transcendental opportunity to serve the great devotees. Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Nishevanat means by service. By serving the great devotees, one is completely cleansed of what? Of all the vices. Even the so-called punya, which is giving us material benefits, even that is also cleansed off. Shushusho Shaddadhanasya. Why a person has got this eagerness to hear about Lord? Just because he has performed devotional service to great devotees. That is why he is now eager. Shushusho. And because of that, he has taken, he has performed devotional service. Punya Tirtha Nishevana. He has got the shelter, Tirtha. Even the shelter of Guru is considered as Tirtha. The shelter of Guru is Punya Tirtha. In the lotus feet of our spiritual master, we can render service. And when we render service at the lotus feet of our spiritual master, then we get the desire to hear more about Krishna. That faith develops. Punya Tirtha. What is Punya Tirtha? Shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. Punya Tirtha Nishevana, also what is the meaning? One attains that transcendental punya, which is devoid of all the vices, including material punya. Two meanings are there. Understand very nicely. Punya Tirtha Nishevana. By service, what happened? One gets the shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. Punya Tirtha. Tirtha. He said, Tirth mein gaye hain. So what should be the Tirtha for the devotees? The shelter of Guru is Tirtha. So when you get the service of Guru, you should understand we are actually in Tirtha. Tirtha means in the pilgrimage. We are in wonderful Tirtha. The where we are rendering service to Guru. And by rendering service to Guru, what happens? Punya Tirtha. That means what? One is cleansed of all the vices, including material punya. Got it? And because of rendering service, one gets a faith, more faith in hearing about Krishna. Okay, Bhaktani Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The conditioned soul of a living being is caused by his revolting against the Lord. There are men called Deva or godly living beings, and there are men called Asuras or demons who are against the authority of the Supreme Lord. The Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, a vivid description of the Asuras is given, in which it is said that the Asuras are put into lower and lower states of ignorance, life after life, and so sink to the lower animal forms and have no information of the absolute truth, the personality of the Godhead. These Asuras are gradually rectified to the God consciousness by the mercy of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries according to the supreme will. Such devotees of the God are very confidential associates of the Lord, and when they come to save human society from the dangers of godlessness, they are known as the powerful incarnations of the Lord, as sons of the Lord, as servants of the Lord, or as associates of the Lord. But none of them falsely claim to be God themselves. This is the blasphemy declared by the Asuras and the demonic followers of such Asuras, who accepts pretenders as God or his incarnation. In the revealed scriptures, there is a definite information of the incarnation of God. No one should be accepted as God or an incarnation of God unless he is confirmed by the revealed scriptures.
Yeah, that is why Bhagavatam is Pramanam Amalam. Pramanam. Amala Pramanam.
The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach and they preach according to particular time and place.
Okay.
The servants.
Wait, let Aruna read. Aruna,
Hare Krishna. The servants of God are to be respected as God by the devotees who actually want to go back to Godhead. Such servants of God are called Mahatmas or Tirthas, and they preach according to particular time and place. Servants of God urge people to become devotees of the Lord. They never tolerate being called God. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was God himself, according to the indication of the revealed scriptures. But he played the part of a devotee. People who knew him to be God addressed him as God, but he used to block his ears with his hands and chant the name of Lord Vishnu. He strongly protested against being called God, although undoubtedly he was God himself. The Lord behaves so to warn us against unscrupulous men who take pleasure in being addressed as God. The servants of God come to propagate God consciousness and intelligent people should cooperate with them in every respect. By serving the servant of God, one can please God more than by directly serving the Lord. The Lord is more pleased when he sees that his servants are properly respected, because such servants risk everything for the service of the Lord and so are very dear to the Lord. The Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18.69, there is that no one is dearer to him than one who risks everything to preach his glory. By serving the servants of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servants, and thus one becomes qualified to hear the glories of God. The eagerness to hear about God is the first qualification of a devotee eligible for entering the kingdom of Lord. Hare Krishna.
Now, by serving Punya Mahatmas, Punya Tirthas, one got the desire to hear about Lord. What happens after hearing about Lord? That is given in the 17th verse. What exactly happens after hearing about Lord? Shrutam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastoya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam. Chaturvedi Prabhu chant after me. Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna
Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Shravana Kirtana
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani
Hridayantosto Bhadrani
Vidunoti Suhatsatam.
Vidunoti Suhatsatam.
Rajneesh Prabhu, please chant after me. Rajneesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna
Shunvata Satutam Krishna
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Shravanam Kirtana
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani
Antos Tasya Bhadrani
Vidunoti Suhatsatam.
Notishta Satam.
Do you have the book with you when you are studying Bhagavatam? Please open your video. Are you having the book with you when you are studying Bhagavatam? Because if the book is not there, how are you going to study? Book should be there. Bhagavatam book should be there. How many of you are having Bhagavatam book? Please show. Show your books. Very good. Show your books. Very good. Let me see your books first.
Mataji, I have an e-book.
E-book, no problem. And Rajneesh Prabhu, very good.
I have.
Very good.
Mataji, mine. Mine, Mataji.
Okay, now you read. Shrutam Sakatha Krishna. Kusum Mataji, read.
Yes, Mataji. Shrutam Swakatha Krishna
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani
Hridayantostoya Bhadrani
Vidunoti Surhatsatam.
Vidunoti Surhatsatam.
When you're touching Bhagavatam, when you're touching Krishna. Because Bhagavatam is very important. Then you say, what about e-book?
The lotus feet of Krishna.
Yes. First canto, lotus feet of Krishna. Huh?
Then we have E Krishna.
E Krishna. E lotus feet of Krishna. Shrutam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Punya Shravana. Again, Punya Punya. What is Punya Shravana Kirtanaha? Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna. You have developed urge to hear about him. Punya Shravana. How is it? It is giving that wonderful qualities, virtuous qualities. And with that virtuous qualities, you are hearing more about him. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. Then what happens by hearing about him? Hridayantasto Bhadrani, Abhadrani, Abhadrani. Abhadra means the desire to enjoy matter. Automatically that goes away. Hridayantaha, Antastaha. Within the heart, there is a desire to enjoy the matter. Just by hearing about Krishna, Vidhunoti, Dholiya. Vidhanoti means cleanses, dholiyam. Vishesha rupena dhunoti. That means you are Vishesha, you are specially cleansing. This is the benefit. Suhat Satam. In this way, this is the benefit of hearing about Krishna. One cleanses all the material desires which is situated within the heart. Vidunoti Suhat Satam. Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna. Here by hearing about him, just by hearing about him, one develops the virtuous qualities. And because of that, all the sinful things are removed, abhadrani. Because desire for material things means sins. It has the capacity to destroy the sins just by hearing. Just by hearing. The taste develops. Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantastoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Sruhasatam. The more we hear, the more we chant, we develop the taste. The more we hear, more we chant, we destroy our sins, abhadrani, which is situated in our heart. And Krishna is situated in our heart. And that is how Krishna is actually, how is he remembered? By hearing process, by chanting process, he is remembered. Okay. Gyan Prabhu, read the purpose.
Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pram. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Message of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are non different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as the Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshastam declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the provinces of the Lord, and that he has endured his innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound. But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna helps in all respects. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. The material sins are products of our desires to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Women and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotee making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. When one is helped by the Lord himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. To become restless in the contact of women and wealth, it is not astonishment because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, particularly immemorial, and it takes time to recover from this foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. Thank you,
So
Mataji.
how is Bhagavatam useful in our personal life? How is Bhagavatam useful in our personal life?
Yeah, one can get rid of all this material engagement and make him pure and bring to the
Okay, why
close
are you
of the
going to
Krishna.
office?
Ji?
Why are you going to office?
Going by this one, metro, train and metro.
No, why a person goes to office?
Yeah, to earn the livelihood. So that he
Okay.
can
By that,
maintain
what
his
he will do? What will he do with that livelihood?
You put in the maintenance of the family, and we can put this to the service of the Lord also.
Yes.
Partly.
So the purpose of the dharma is for self-preservation and tattva jigyasa. And tattva jigyasa is Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Then how a person realizes Bhagavan? By hearing about him. If he is doing all these activities but he has no inclination, Shama eva hi kevalam. So by hearing about Lord, he can easily cut off all the bondage. Even to hear about the Lord, what he should do? He should serve pure devotees. By serving pure devotees, he has desire for hearing about Lord. Such desire, what happens with that such desire? What happens when he develops such desire?
It brings closer to the Lord.
Yes,
Or the taste develops for the Lord.
Taste develops, and then what happens? All the abhadras are
vanishes.
That is how he gets the strength to defend himself in all state of disturbances. Material life is disturbances. So even though a devotee is there in the material world, he is undisturbed. He is undisturbed. That is a strength which is got by just hearing Bhagavatam, which is the outcome of his service to his devotional, to his spiritual master, or outcome of the service to the pure devotees. Okay. Now we have seen the stages of devotional service. It started with what? Adav Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha. Then what happens? Unmute yourself.
Bhajana Kriya.
Bhajana Kriya. Then
Anartha Nivritti.
Anartha Nivritti.
Anartha Nivritti. Then
Nishtha.
Nishtha. Then
Ruchi.
Then
Asakti.
Bhav.
Asakti.
Asakti.
Bhava Prem.
Bhava Prem.
Bhav and prem.
Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds 5 more. This is all 9 now, 5 more. How Shraddha came? How you develop Shraddha? Association of pure devotee and service to pure devotee. How it has come? Not just by association. Association is afterwards. Mercy. Sadhu Sangha is association. Mercy of a pure devotee and service to pure devotee. You don't know whether you intentionally served him or unintentionally it happened. There was a stone lying on the road, and you just picked the stone and kept it aside. And a pure devotee was passing through the street. So what did you do? You served the devotee, service to the devotee, by which automatically mercy flows. Just imagine if the stone would have hurt the lotus feet of the pure devotee, then that is why unknowingly you have served, by which unknowingly you have got that sukruti or the mercy of devotee. So Shraddha, though it is the beginning stage, Adav Shraddha, even to have Shraddha in the path, that also requires these two things: mercy of pure devotee and service to devotee. Mercy of devotees and service of devotees. Service to devotees. That is why you got Shraddha. Then because of Shraddha, what you did? You got association of devotees now. Association. And then what you do with that association? You hear first. So hearing process starts. When hearing happens, then bhajana kriya happens. That means devotional service happens. Devotional service. And then when devotional service, the desire to serve happens. Initially, we used to write, who are all the devotees who would like to serve? Now, it so happens, today just we had put a message about Narsimha Chaturdashi. So many devotees were asking, Mataji, Please give us some service. Why this desire to serve came? Because of hearing. When we hear more and more, desire to serve comes. Please give us service. Yes, desire to serve. And when the desire to serve comes, automatically abhatras vanish. That is, anartha nivritti happens. When anartha nivritti happens, the same shraddha, which was in a komala stage, now it has taken the shape of firm determination. Same shraddha is now turned to nishtha. Nishtha means firm faith. It was first komala faith, now it is firm faith. When such firm faith happens, what happens? Let us see, when firm faith is there. Nashta prayesha badreshu. Who will chant after me? Or all of you unmute and chant together, because we all know this verse.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you
Yes,
unmute
Mataji.
and chant.
Yes.
Kaka voice will come.
Hmm.
Nashta prayesha
Prayesha
Bhadreshu
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama
Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishti.
The initiation process was there. Devotees were asked, which Bhagavatam verse you know? And devotees said, oh, we don't know anything. I said, you know. We every day chant Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu before Bhagavatam class or Bhagavad Gita class. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. By just serving Bhagavata. Two types of Bhagavata. Grantha Bhagavat, Bhakta Bhagavat. Just by serving Grantha Bhagavat, Bhakta Bhagavat, what happens? Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu. So what is this chapter speaking about? It speaks about the importance of Bhagavatam. Isn't it? Importance of studying Bhagavatam. Importance of serving the devotees. Nashtaprayeshu, abhadreshu. Abhadra means all our sins can be completely eradicated, completely removed. Nashtaprayeshu, abhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Every day one has to study. Every day one has to seek opportunity to serve the devotees. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. So, Bhagavati, Lord, is praised by Uttama Shloka. He is also known as Uttama Shloki. One of the name of Krishna is Uttama Shloki. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Now that loving service is done with great determination. Nishtha stage has reached. Isn't it? One reached the stage of Nishtha. What happened in the previous verse? The previous verse, what happens? By hearing, all the sinful desires goes away. All abhadras goes away. So in that stage was what? That stage was how you started hearing. Because of the mercy, because of the service, you developed Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha. Then hearing process, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Then came Nishtha. So 7 are there in the first verse. 7 are there. Now 8th process is here. 8th is what? All Nishtha. But technically, if you see, if you don't see, if you know only 9 processes, then what was there? Shraddha. Faith is there. Because of that faith, you had association. Because of association, you had Bhajana Kriya. Because of Bhajana Kriya, all the anarthas are gone. So 4 stages are spoken. The 4 became 7 because 2 are added and in between hearing process is added. Understood? That is why that 4 became 7. Or first 4 also you can see. The 5th stage is what? Nishtha stage. What is Nishtha? Firm determination in rendering this devotional service. Okay, Aruna, please read.
Hare Krishna. Here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. The remedy is the association of the Bhagavatas. There are 2 types of Bhagavatas, namely Book Bhagavata and the Devotee Bhagavata. Both the Bhagavatas are competent remedies, and both of them or either of them can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. The Devotee Bhagavata is as good as the Book Bhagavata because the devotee Bhagavata leads his life in terms of the Book Bhagavata, and the Book Bhagavata is full of information about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees who are also Bhagavatas. Bhagavata book and person are identical.
Yes.
The
Now,
devotee
Ramakrishna Prabhu, you read from here. Book Bhagavata and Bhakta Bhagavata are identical. What is Bhakta Bhagavata doing? Glorifying Krishna. What is Book Bhagavata doing? Glorifying devotees and Krishna. Yes.
The devotee Bhagavata is the direct representative of Bhagavan, the first book Bhagavata. Human reason. Devotee Bhagavata is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personal Godhead. So, by pleasing the devotee Bhagavata, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavata. Human reason fails to understand how, by serving the devotee Bhagavata or the book Bhagavata, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. But actually, these are facts explained by Srila Narada Deva, who happened to be a maidservant's son in his previous life. The maidservant was engaged in the menial service of the sages, and thus he also came into contact with them. And simply by associating with them and accepting the remnants of footsteps left by the sages, the son of the maidservant got the chance to become the great devotee and personality Srila Narada Deva. These are the miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavatas. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. The more progress is made in devotional service under the guidance of the Bhagavatas, the more one becomes fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The messages of the book Bhagavata, therefore, have to be received from the devotee Bhagavata, and the combination of these two Bhagavatas will help the neophyte devotee to make progress on and on. Hare Krishna.
So what is the qualification to hear Bhagavatam? What is the qualification? The more we serve, yes. What's the qualification? Service is a qualification. One line answer.
Service to Guru.
Yes, service to the devotees is a qualification to enter Bhagavatam. Bhagavata. Mercy. Mercy of the. Yes, mercy is there, then only service is there. Service is there, then only mercy is there. Interconnected. Bade Prabhuji is here only. Okay. The service is there, then mercy is there. Mercy is there, then only service is there. Okay. Then what happens? Yes, yes.
पहला कौन सा है सर्विस के सर्विस इज द एंट्रेंस डोर और द mercy is the entrance door.
Mercy. It started with mercy, no? Mercy is there.
Okay.
Then you got service. And the service is there, that is why Shraddha. Now somebody can say service is there, then only mercy came. Anything can be the entry mode. Both can.
So the door is open. The entrance door is open either way.
From here also you can enter, from there also. By service you can get mercy, by mercy you can get service.
So like in material world we have, like in malls we have entry and exit, but in spiritual we have only one door for entry and exit. इधर से भी एंट्री करो, उधर से भी एग्जिट करो, दोनों जगह से एंट्री करो.
इधर से एंट्री करोगे तो वो मिलेगा, वहां से एंट्री करोगे तो ये मिलेगा. Okay. Then now nishtha is developed. That means firm faith is there. What is the next? Ruchi asakti. So in the next 19th verse, the first line refers to ruchi. This taste depends upon the three modes of material nature. Taste in this material life depends upon the three modes of material nature. But because one has developed taste for hearing about Krishna, no more rajas and tamas act upon us. When we have developed taste for hearing about Krishna, rajas, the influence of the rajas and tamas automatically vanish. Tada rajas tamo bhava kamalobha dayaschiye. Then what happens? Then asakti. There is an asakti, attachment to Krishna. Chete rana vidham stitam sattve prasidati. Stitam sattve. So the asakti to remain at the lotus feet of Krishna, even as one dhuli. What is that verse in Chaitanya Shikshashtakam which is said? Ainanda tanuja kinkaram tapitamma vishami mambude. Kripaya tava pada pankaja sita dhuli sadrusham, which in stitam. Yes, stitam is there. Stitam refers to now asakti. What is a desire to stay? The desire is to stay at the lotus feet of Krishna, even as a dhuli. First line refers to ruchi. Second line refers to asakti. Let us see. Okay. Kusum Mataji, chant after me. Tada rajastamo bhava.
Tada rajastamo bhava.
Bhava. Even I have to take laddu now. Tada rajastamo bhava.
Tada rajastamo bhava.
Kamalobha dayaschaye.
Kamalobha dayaschaye.
Chete terana vidham.
Cheta eter anavidham.
Sitam satve prasidati.
Sitam satve prasidati.
Tada rajastamo bhava.
Tada rajastamo bhava.
Kamalobha dayaschaye.
Kamalobha dayaschaye.
Chete terana vidham.
Cheta eter anavidham.
Sitam satve prasidati.
Sitam satve prasidati.
Tada rajastamo bhava. Because of this mode of passion, mode of ignorance, what is produced? Lust and desire is there. Hankering is there. Lobha is there. And other all vices are there. All these vices are there. But if this devotional service is there, is established in the heart, then what will happen? All this effects of rajas and tamas automatically vanishes. It is not affected now. Anavidham. Anavidham means it is not affected. Then stitam sattve prasidati. Because of that, now he is situated in mode of goodness. Which sattva? Shuddha sattva. Shuddha sattva lies at the lotus feet of Krishna. So now he is situated in the lotus feet of Krishna. That asakti is there. So first two lines, technically, if you see first three lines, anavidham is there. Anavidham is completely eradicated. When such effects are not there, then he is situated in the Shuddha sattva. First three lines ruchi, last line is asakti. Okay, Bimlangi Mataji, read. Is the purpose?
Yes, Mataji. A living being in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritualism. The state of existence is called Brahma Bhuta or Atmananda, or the state of the self-satisfaction. The state of self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. The inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmananda is the transcendental to the constitutional to the 1 second. The state of existence. This stage of perfection is attained as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. Devotional service is not inactivity. It is the unalloyed activity of the soul.
Okay.
The soul's
now, Milind Prabhu, you read. Narveka Prabhu, you read. The devotion service is
The
not
soul's
inactivity,
activity.
it employs activity. Yes. Okay.
The soul's activity becomes adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the disease activity is expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. The effect of devotional service becomes manifest by complete elimination of these effects of passion and ignorance. The devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness, and he makes further progress to rise to the position of Vasudeva, or the state of unmixed sattva or Shuddha sattva. Only in the Shuddha sattva state can one always see Krishna eye to eye by dint of pure affection for the Lord. A devotee is always in the mode of unalloyed goodness, therefore he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotees are one and the same. Hare Krishna.
Okay, here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask? Yes. Sachdev Prabhu. Okay. Let Sachdev Prabhu ask, then Vimla Mataji.
Mataji, regarding what we discussed about Arthik Dharma and Paramatmik Dharma, and then we discussed about Varnashram system. My question is that should we bypass Varnashram system? But Prabhupada says that we should go for Varnashram system.
One should perform Varna Ashrama for pleasing Krishna.
That's all.
Mataji,
What's the difference? Okay.
Yeah.
What will be the difference between pleasing Lord versus loving Lord?
There is nothing versus. If you love Lord, automatically you will please Lord. If you don't love a person, how are you going to please a person? It is interconnected. Like pleasing refers to service. Love and service go hand in hand. Without service, without love, you cannot serve. Without service, you cannot even love a person. They go hand in hand.
Okay.
So pleasing Lord depends on how much you love Lord. Like you please your child by making wonderful items for him. Why? Because you love him.
Mataji, two more points. One about that e-book we discussed, Bhagavatam e-book, Srimad Bhagavatam e-book. So I had a Bhagavatam e-book. So I had a point that if there is an if e-book is considered as Bhagavatam, then e-book Bhagavatam is considered as good. Then why we always refer as Grantha. Grantha means book Bhagavatam. That is one point. And secondly, an e-book cannot be placed on a golden throne on Bhadra Purnima and donated, which is given in our last canto. So
and why have marathon also? Why have marathon also? If e-book is so much emphasized, then we should stop marathon. No? But still we give importance to marathon. Prabhupada said distribute books. So Grantha Bhagavad, Bhakta Bhag. Yes, this is all modernization. E-book.
Yeah, we cannot place an e-book on the golden throne. Okay. And the last point was that you said that grooming takes place. Vidunoti takes place. Cleansing of the anarthas. So my question is that does Krishna broom or does Krishna as Paramatma brooms?
Krishna's Katha brooms.
Krishna's Katha brooms. What does that mean?
Krishna's Katha is non-different from Krishna.
So it is not Paramatma, it is not Krishna, it is Krishna's Katha.
Like when everybody was throwing the stone, Rama also threw the stone. Rama saw his stone sunk, but Hanuman's stone is floating. Then he said, "Hey, how is it that your stones are floating?" He said, "Because we have written your name." So Krishna's name is non-different from Krishna. Though Rama is also standing there, but Krishna's name, that is Rama's name, is more powerful than Rama himself. Krishna Katha is more powerful than even Krishna. Isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Vimla Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. It is said that only in the Shuddha Sattva state can one always see Krishna eye to eye by dint of pure affection for the Lord. What does it mean?
Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva means where a person understands his identity, not just as a soul, as servant of Krishna. That is the real truth. Shuddha Sattva. Sattva means truth. But Brahman realization people consider seeing the soul different from the body as Shuddha Sattva. Actually, it is not Shuddha Sattva. It is only one Sattva, yes, but it is Shuddha Sattva. The complete purest truth is understanding that we are servant of Krishna.
Only understanding is enough.
Then only will serve, na? Without understanding how a person will serve. Understanding our constitutional position means acting on that platform. Acting on that platform, that is Shuddha Sattva. So for attaining Shuddha Sattva, a person need not die. Even in this material life, he can be placed in that Shuddha Sattva. We have heard this in Iha Yasya Harer Dasya Karmana Manasa Gira Nikhila Shapi Avasthasu Jivan Muktasa Uchyate Bhakti Samrit Sindhu. We have heard this. In this lifetime itself, if a person, what's the difference between Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva? Not much difference. Same. Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva. You can little bit to say, okay, Shuddha Sattva, understanding I'm not the body, I'm soul. Vishuddha Sattva, understanding that I'm servant of Krishna and acting on that platform. Actually, practically, technically, it's same. Just by putting V, it is. The real Shuddha Sattva means seeing Lord. Seeing Lord means serving me. Okay. Vimlangi Mataji, you had a doubt.
Yes, Mataji, it was from the previous class. Mataji, it is said that it was told by you that Srimad Bhagavatam, one who has an inquiry, they take the shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also one who has a misery, they should take the shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then how does the Srimad Bhagavatam mitigates their miseries? Is it through the knowledge, or is it that we surrender to them and then Krishna takes care of the
Repeat the
miseries?
question again. Repeat the question.
Okay. So it is said that the one who has the miseries, they should take the shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So my question is,
where it is said?
Once I heard from you only, no? Then those who has the difficulties, or then they should take the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. But then
Yeah, we are all in difficult situation only, na? Miserable situation.
Yes, miseries and difficult situations. Then how does this Srimad Bhagavatam helps to overcome these difficulties or the miseries? Is it through the knowledge, or is it through that the Krishna takes care of it? I'm just trying to understand.
Okay. Now let us come again back. Why there is miserable situation? Answer. Why there is a miserable situation? You can answer.
Because
Anybody can answer.
We are into the
Because
sense
misery.
gratification, material, modes of material nature.
What did you say, Vimlangi Mataji? One by one.
Misery is.
Let
Because
Vimlangi Mataji first tell. Why there is a misery in our life?
We are under the conditioned soul, and we are under the modes of material nature, and we are always looking for the sense gratification.
Okay, due to avidya. Okay, Madhvi Manjari has said due to avidya. Okay. Sachdev Prabhu.
Turned away. Because we have turned away our face from. Because we have turned away our face from the Lord. We have turned away from the Lord.
Why there is a misery?
And also because because the misery is inbuilt into this material world. It is inbuilt.
It is inbuilt.
Past karma.
Past karma. We try to enjoy separately from Krishna, who is the reservoir of Ananda. Yes.
Not surrendering to Krishna.
Not surrendering to Krishna. Yes. Why there is a misery in the life?
We have forgotten our relation with Krishna.
We have forgotten our relation to Krishna. Anything related to attachment? Attachment?
Yeah.
Material attachment? Material attachment. Attachment leads to expectations. Expectations lead to lamentations. So miseries are actually inbuilt, or you can say Miseries are because of our only karmas. Because of our karmas, we are taking miseries. But by taking shelter of Bhagavatam, what happens? What happens? What happens?
Noti.
Huh?
We do noti. We do noti.
Yeah, we do bhakti towards Krishna. Bhakti to Krishna.
Cleansing of heart happens.
Cleansing of heart happens.
Anartha
How it happens? How anartha nivritti happens?
Because the Lord is established, because the Lord does that work for us, cleans the heart.
By hearing and chanting.
By hearing and chanting. Why again that all the miseries are gone just by hearing Bhagavatam? Yes, Kleshavni, Shubhada. Because our attachment is now on the right track. Initially, it was perverted.
Attached to superior things. Yeah,
Yes,
superior
when the attachment is to the superior thing, Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopasya parandrishtva nivartante. When our attachment is for Krishna, and that attachment is developed from where? How it is developed? By hearing.
By mercy.
By serving.
By hearing.
Mercy, sadhu
More and
sangas,
more by
sadhu
hearing,
seva.
desire develops. Just now we saw that. By hearing more and more, desire to serve also increases. The more we develop the taste, the more we develop, the more we hear, the more we develop the taste to serve. The more we serve, the more we develop the taste to hear. It is interconnected. Service to the pure devotees happen by hearing. Hearing happens because of the service to the pure devotees. Actually, it is interconnected. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
So the relationship, Mataji, so the relationship between hearing and the anarthas going away is indirectly proportional.
Yes.
The more we hear, the less the anartha. Indirect.
Indirect. Okay, any more question? So here we will stop. Yes, 62, 65. 62 to 65 is the answer. Yes. What's the word 62? Second chapter. Dhyayato Vishyan Punsah Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangha Sanjayate Kama Kama
कामत् क्रोधो विजायते
Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha
क्रोधात् भवति
Smriti Brahma
सम्मोहात्
स्मृतिभ्रंशात्
स्मृतिविभ्रमः
बुद्धिनाशो
स्मृतिविमर्शात् बुद्धिनाशो
प्रणश्यति.
बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति.
So then what is the answer?
रागद्वेष
Ragadvesha Vimuktestu
विमुक्तेस्तु
विषयान्
विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन्
इन्द्रियाश्च
आत्मवशे
आत्मवशे
विधेयात्मा
Atma
प्रसादम्
प्रसादमधिगच्छति.
अधिगच्छति.
Prasadam Adhigachati. Then what happens after you get prasadam?
Then sarva dukhan are gone.
Prasade
Prasade sarva dukhan. Hainai.
Supajayate.
Prasanna chetasya
Sannadetajo
Paryavatishtati.
So this is the answer. Prasadam, prasade. By just hearing about all the prasadam. Prasadam is mercy flows. Okay. So write the connection between each and every verse, just for your understanding. It's not a question. Write a summary of first verse till now what we did 19th verse. 2021 also will come. If you want, you can do it also 2021 and write a summary till 21. When you develop this writing habit, next what? What is it? It will be like a scene. The whole thing will be like a picture going on. Bhagavatam becomes very, very easy and relishable also. Write a summary. You don't have to write so many things, just small. First verse, what it spoke. Second verse, what it spoke. Third verse. The three are the pranam mantra. And so you have to, just for relishing. Okay. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
Patitanam
पतितानां
Pavanebhyo
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo
नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण।
Namo